friends. This is Kardec Radio at 11 p.m. in Harvest of Light, a book that was psychographed by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier in 1972. This book was titled in Portuguese Ceifa de Luz, and it is translated into English. In this opportunity of learning about the messages that Emmanuel brought to us through Chico Xavier in 1972. You know, in 1972, Chico Xavier was 62 years of age, and he was quite experienced, and he was already in his last phase of the mediumship, in which he was writing the letters from the loved mothers and fathers who lost their loved ones, their children. And during that phase, Chico Xavier kept himself very productive. And why am I opening this parenthesis to us? Because often we think we've done great deals and then we stop waiting for death. But I remember Divaldo Franco mentioning to me, Vanessa, in a 1,000-step journey, if I walk 999 and I don't complete the last one, I have not fulfilled it. So this book, Ceifa de Luz, Harvest of Light, was published in 1972 when Chico Xavier was 62 years of age. For many at that time, he was already done. He was in the surplus. But he, as a wise man, a wise spirit, he kept following the instruction of Emmanuel and said, let's keep helping people. Let's keep sharing the good, seeking the good, feeling the good, visualizing the good, molding the good with all the resources we have at hand. So that's a call for you and I. No matter how many good deeds you do, we never stop. Like God never stops doing the good. And Jesus said, let us be perfect as our Father is perfect. Okay? So that's a reminder for you and I. What happens if we stop? I think the lesson today will tell us what's gonna happen. You wanna know? Are you ready? Teresa Castro, Lívia Moraes, Andrea Torres, Cris Anastasia, Rihanna. Are you ready, friends? Shall we? It's chapter 32, titled The Divine Master. Emmanuel quotes from Paul to the Ephesians. Angelita is here. Sol Souza is here. So, the Divine Master, chapter 32, he quotes Paul to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 14. Stand firm then. Okay, ready? Emmanuel then explains to us, pulling us to the from the stronghold of delinquency and snatching us from the hell of guilt, to which we descend by the folly of our own will. The Lord grant us the divine teacher, who, supported by time, becomes the nurse of all evils, and an indefatigable angel who feels sustain our destiny. Patient and imperturbable, it returns to us all the blows with which we tear the body of life, so that we do not persist in the grid of error or in the prisons of remorse. Here, it models cribs between atrocious wounds that restore us the imbalance of feeling. There, it traces reparative programs among which we suffer in our own body the wounds we open in the chest of our fellow beings. Now, it gathers in bones of the same blood fierce opponents who hated each other to be reconciled by pressing obligations according to the directions of nature. Then, in the impoverished and diseased home, it constrains the distressing need, those who have broken off in the abuses of avarice and ambition without limits, so that they may return to the worship of true brotherhood. Today, it reinstates the intelligence lost in the shadows by the Calvary of idiocy. Tomorrow, it recomposes with the burble of unpleasant diseases the beauty of the spirit that our disrepair in the body so often turns ugly and ruinous. Here, it corrects. Further, it clarifies. Furthermore, it adjusts and improves. Tireless in the march, it creates and destroys, to rebuild before the goals of the eternal good, using distress and displeasure, disenchantment and bitterness, so that peace and hope, joy and victory can congratulate us later on in the sanctuary of experience. Similar genie, invariable and friendly, is the meritorious pain, whose precious power heals all imbalances and problems of evil. Let us remember, in the domestic circuit or in the main road, before friends and those who are not so much friends, in the journey of each day when visited by the trials that bring sweat and tears to us, let us keep ourselves serene in our spirit, smiling before the work with which the pain favors us, appreciating the difficulty and accepting the lesson. Mamma mia, who is the divine master? Pain. Pain is the divine master, but not any pain. It's a specific pain, meritorious pain. What does that mean? It means that, as much as we studied in the previous chapter, if we decide to stop, to be stagnated in our progress, we'll be pushed. So there is a force that will push us forward. Pain. Vanessa, that's hard, but it is true. So as we were saying in the introduction of the program, when Chico Xavier wrote this, psychographed this book in 1972, Chico Xavier was 62 years of age. Then he had already done great deals in life, and yet It never stopped. For many people, back in 1972, he was done. It's like, oh, you're in the surplus. You can stop and retire. And you know that he lived his life until he was 92. From 62 years of age in 1972 to 2002, when he turned 92 and discarnated, there were 30 years. 30 continuous, productive years. When the good spirits see somebody who has that much experience, do you think they're gonna say, oh, he's too old? No. They're gonna say, that's the most experienced one. So no matter how many good deeds you do, or I do, or anybody does, it's not enough. We have to keep on going. But what else should I do? Listen to the voice of the angels. Or else, what is going to happen if we don't? Pain is going to push us. He says here, we may go in the stronghold of delinquency, committing crimes. And what is crime? Crime in Spiritism is anything that is in the realms of non-compliance to the divine laws. And he says, and there we find guilt. And he says, pain, rescue us. The Lord grants us the divine teacher, pain, who, supported by time, will be the nurse of our evils, and the angel who will sustain our destiny. The nurse will be pain. And he describes how we abuse the body, and the body's gonna kick and scream saying, please no longer sugar in my body. I can't take it anymore. Please no more alcohol. I can no longer take it. And you know that there is a recent scientific article published in the reputable journal Lancet telling us clear-cut that there is no safety in drinking even a cup of alcohol. Mamma mia, this is the angels telling us on earth, stop this silly-nilly talk that it's gonna be good for your heart, because it's terrible for your liver and for the rest of the body. So the body, pain is gonna say, stop it. Stop being sedentary because my cholesterol is going up. Stop being too nervous because the nerves cannot put up with that anymore. And he says here, and then we don't want to be friends or reconcile. Don't worry. We will reincarnate in the same family, and then we'll be forced into looking at each other, talking to one another, eating with one another, sleeping with one another. And he says, if we were too ambitious, competing for positions and money, then we reincarnate in a poor family. Sometimes he said diseased family, and we'll have to revisit it all. These are Emmanuel's words. And you may be asking, and it's a fair question, but I want good news. Well, but he's telling us good news. Because when we go wrong, we ask, what do I do now? Well, if I don't correct myself, pain is gonna come and adjust ourselves. That's what he's saying here. He says, here, pain corrects us. There, pain clarifies, shed light. Then it adjusts and improves ourselves. It creates and destroys. Pain is the divine master, psychoeducator, telling us, come on. Nowadays, do you feel that emptiness sometimes? Like, what do I do next? How can I help more people? But then, this emptiness comes because we are not putting ourselves in touch with our guardian angels, the protecting spirits. Listen to them. Look at Chico Xavier. In the simplicity of his city, under the avocado tree, he read the gospel and he talked about it with the people who came by. He didn't wait to open a super mega spiritist center. He kept it simple. And I know many people who want to complicate. For them, if it's not a spiritist center of 100, 200, 300 people, they don't open a center. I said, my friend, what about your house? God doesn't want more than that. If God counted on Peter's house, so the governor of the planet could share the teachings, we're trying to be more than the master. If you don't have a house, a friend may have a house. Or there is a library. But it's non-negotiable not to do because we don't have the optimal resources. If I don't find the resources elsewhere, I have it at home. And nowadays with social media, there's so much work to be done. So much work to be done. Books to be translated, programs to be released at Cardiac Radio, the Spiritist Magazine, at the Spiritist out of Virginia, and many centers around the world. There's so much to be done. And we cannot count on the financial resources of others. People are welcome to help, and we're very grateful for all who donate because they're benefiting millions of people that they have no idea about. But we need to count on our resources. Wherever I am, I need to put that lamp on the table. Or the meritorious pen is gonna knock on our door. It's a genie, friendly, that has healing powers and will heal us from all evils. So, in the previous chapter, we learned that we cannot run away from our difficulties. Emmanuel says, let us work with a smile. Let us appreciate the difficulty and accept the lesson. So next time we're before a difficult moment in our lives, what do? Singing in the rain, I'm singing in the rain, right? Let's sing in the rain. It's okay, it's valid to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to do this. But I find the beauty in it. And I start singing. And I hear people saying things that I don't like or don't appreciate, or doing things, being different. And I say, you know, one day we'll be on the same page. It may take 1 billion years, or maybe sooner than this. And we will be singing in the rain for now, right? But we won't stop, right? We're not quitters. September is the month of suicide awareness. And this message comes to keep us calm, serenity, he says here. I cannot change it. Take it easy. I remember talking to a homeopathic doctor, and he said, you know, some people think it's the end of the world when they find out that they have a chronic illness. But you know, it's natural to find out that sooner or later we'll need help, external help. And thank God we have them in the medications of life. Because there was a time on the earth in which if you had diabetes, you didn't have hope. If you had tuberculosis, you didn't have hope. I remember once, more than 10 years ago, a young lady had a baby in the northeast of Brazil. And one day she called and said, I was diagnosed with leper. And I said, pardon me, what did you say? I have leper. And then we flew to Brazil, visited her. What a difficult condition. She's beautiful, young, just had a baby, could not nurse the baby. And she had to fight her disease. It was very difficult. Thank God she succeeded without consequences. But at Jesus' time, if you had leper, that was it. Like cancer nowadays. There are people who think cancer is a death sentence, but it is not. Many people are surviving. I know survivors of cancer. They are past 20 years of the very day they were diagnosed, and they had a few months. And if you talk to them, they change their thoughts, their feelings, they change their lives. For us, there's no death. There's just transformation. And we're being called tonight by Emmanuel to keep ourselves calm. Don't quit your life. Don't quit your work. He says, be serene. Smile to your work. Appreciate your difficulty and accept the lesson. How do we do it, friends? To be sincere with you, I don't think we can do it alone. But we're never alone. God is with us. G-O-D, God is here. G-O-D, God is everywhere. And if you go to the last chapter of the Gospel According to Spiritism by Kardec, there is a collection of prayers. And there are prayers that Kardec teaches us to pray to our protecting spirits, the guardian angels. Flip those pages, read them, count on the help of our protecting spirits, your protecting spirits, your guardian angel. Pray saying, please, my guardian angel, I want to be serene. I want to smile to this work. I want to accept this lesson. I don't want to run away from this difficulty. I know with you I can discover a new way of feeling, a new way of being. Discover the new potential in me. Please help me. And it takes humility. Humility for us to feel like Chico, Xavier, oh Emmanuel, what do I do now? Please help me. And you feel the caressing hand of the good spirits holding you like a baby. I'll never forget how often Mentor Joseph said, Vanessa, you see your love for Virginia. Now you imagine my love for you. And I started crying and said, oh my God, Mentor Joseph, it's so good to know that this is pretty much how you feel about me, because it's intense what I feel for Virginia. And he says, tell people that their guardian angels love them like a loving parent loves their babies. So friends, tonight, embrace yourself and feel the embrace of your guardian angel. No matter the difficulty and the pain, never quit. And Dulce's story is reminding us, yes, she's reminding us of the cancer, the suicide prevention, the annual event in Long Island, right, at Stony Brook University, sponsored by the Long Island Spiritist Doctrine Studies Society. And one of the speakers is going to be a cancer patient, and she's amazing, right? Thank you, Elsa. Hello, Jose Gonzalez. How are you? Eliza, how are you? So friends, tonight, it's not about pain, but it's about the warning, the helping hand that says, don't keep going down. Come on, let me pick you up. And the guardian angels are picking us up like a baby being cared for, right? Exactly, Dulce. So tonight, this is the message. If you think it's not enough, tomorrow we have more. It's about our body. Chapter 33 talks about the blessing of the body. Oh, Mamma Mia. Our dear body. Sometimes we abuse it, but tomorrow we're gonna learn. Preserve your body like a responsible and conscious worker that protects its instrument of service. Oh my, so many beautiful lessons. For now, just want you to feel how God is with you and with us every time. G-O-D, God is here. G-O-D, God is everywhere. And the exercises to pray more often, talking to the guardian angel and feeling their loving embrace and how they love us. Shall we? Good job, Andrea. And until tomorrow, friends, God willing, we will be back to talk about the blessing of the body. Emmanuel, in the Harvest of Light, wants us to pause our lives and talk about it. Until tomorrow, God willing.